I've always hated Shakespeare's Othello. It's a horrible play. It's obnoxious. It's this stupid black guy surrounded by people manipulating him, and you think, what is wrong with this picture? It's just unbelievable. Giving you an inept or outnumbered solo black person in charge in a universe that was foreign to him. And I don't think that's the reality of our lives, certainly, when we were growing up, and certainly in the 21st century, now that Obama is president. It's a different picture. Anyway, I was saying how much I hated this play to Toni Morrison one day, and she just said, "You are very wrong." And she spent the next 5 hours quoting from memory and laying out this play for me and saying, this is a play about the language they use and that has been used in America to convince you that everything you deeply believe in and love in your heart is worthless and will never fly in this world, and you should abandon it.
Our interpretation of what drives Iago, I guess, is a bit different, or different from maybe your typical understanding of Iago. All the things he says that make people call him Honest Iago all the time. What if actually those things were true too? Do you know what I mean? Because I started thinking, how can you be a convincing Iago if you're not convincing? Do you know what I mean? I just started looking at this book. I'm like, how did these guys play this part and not believe the love as much as they believe the hate? How'd they do it? I don't know. I think that goes back to the idea of saying, I'm not what I am. And the idea, and what does that mean? Because I think you immediately think, well, I'm not what I am, is that he's going to put on the good face, but there's the bad face behind it. But it actually can mean the opposite. You might actually think that I'm somebody who's doing these things, to the audience. You might actually think I'm somebody who's doing these things, but I might actually not be that guy.
I do believe John Ortiz is the Marlon Brando of his generation. The tenderness, the extreme, incredible tenderness. This sexy, irresistible, but thoughtful, incredibly deeply felt. And this very poetic edge of love and imagination and vulnerability. And then, on the other side, a rage so terrifying, a rage so horrible, and you don't know if he's in control of it. And again, with Philip Seymour Hoffman, the same. Iago can't just be clever. He's got to be a great tragic figure. We have got to see him as heartbreaking. Phil is an actor who fearlessly goes into that part of the salt mines and comes up with the stuff that none of us would ever admit to. And Phil has this amazing way of living through that in public while you watch. It's incredible, it's unbearable, it's courageous, it's magnificent.
Yeah, well, me playing Othello as a Latino in America today, in a production that is hopefully representing a picture of America today, makes a lot of sense. To me, it makes a lot of sense because it takes the simple black and white issue out and really forces us to examine the complex issues and complex discussions and questions of race head on. And it forces us to go underneath it and, in a certain sense, look at all the different kinds of shades of colors. I mean, the one big issue, I think, with Othello is his sense of being from the outside. And we hit that head on many different levels. It goes beyond just, a black and white world.
It's a privilege to be alive in America when Sonia Sotomayor takes her oath as a Supreme Court justice and to say, this is a different world now. This is a different country. It's amazing to do a production of Othello where of the 8 actors on stage, 3 are African American and 3 are Latino and 2 are white. And you have to get out of your racial categories because, first of all, there's not one black person and everyone else is someone else, or not one Latino and everyone else is someone else. You get that there are communities. And Shakespeare keeps giving people these extended, beautiful, poetic language that actually takes their identity to these whole new places where the stereotypes just fall in the dust. And you get that human beings are something that is so beyond the labels, so beyond even your own self-image, is this whole other thing waiting for us. This transfigured, transcendent realm that Shakespeare invites you into with this magnificent, blazing, iridescent